film, television, gaming and the arts. It's time for another edition of Matt Horn Meets. And on the line we have Sean Marquette talking to us about his new film, Field of Lost Shoes. Sean, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about Field of Lost Shoes.
Now, to start off the interview, I have to say that it is actually based on a true story.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah. It's based on an entirely true story and kind of an important story that isn't quite told very often, at least about, young Confederate soldiers and, one of the most brutal histories in the world.
Because it's the American Civil War, isn't it?
It takes place during a time where our country was in shambles and, the war at this point in time for our story had already taken its toll. I mean, it had been, I think, about 3 years at the time. And Virginia was one of the last states to really get hit by the Civil War. They remained kind of, too far south for the war to touch until, I think it's 1864 when this took place. And it was tragic because by the time the war got to Virginia, there wasn't anybody left to fight except for, the small band of cadets from VMI. And that's kind of why the story is so important and powerful.
I mean, I'm just trying to think now how many films there are about the American Civil War.
Oh, man, way too many, huh? I mean, there's one thing I know about Americans in history, man, is that we love it, and we can't get enough. So I'm glad that this is added to the fold because it's, it's a different look at the Civil War. It's not the glorified fiction movie. This is a pretty factual script to things that happened at that time with these children.
Would you say it's more educational than action?
I feel like it's a little of both. I was really pleasantly surprised at how much action they did put in film. Did you get an opportunity to see it?
I haven't had a chance to yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly historically accurate, but they made sure to do a nice job of adding in enough action and, a little romance plot line with a couple of the characters. They put things in there to make sure it's still a good movie. There are many scenes with Abraham Lincoln and Grant and Breckinridge that are all well documented, history that happened at that time.
So tell us a bit about the character you play in the movie.
I played Benjamin Duck Colonna. Ducky was his nickname, and Colonna was one of the very few kids at the school who was a captain and the leader of his company. And historically speaking, he was one of the older kids at the school and thus responsible for a lot of the younger guys that are in the film. But they did a good job of making sure that they put all of our characters from VMI in one room together and made us seem like a very close group of friends. And, in actuality, and the real history is that within the diaries, especially my character, Benjamin Colonna, you're close with everyone at the school. It's only a student body of about 200 people, so everyone knows each other really, really well. And one of the best diaries and things we were able to read was from Jack Stannard, and Jack Stannard kept a diary, and in there he mentioned my character, Benjamin Colonna, as being an older, kinder officer who really treated all the young boys with respect. I tried to keep that in mind when we're marching around all day, 3 months for a year shooting a movie, and I had to play an officer, and while we're on set, I got to do very cool things, like I got to line all the boys up, and I got to yell the commands, and I kind of got to be in charge of a group of 50 kids while we were all marching through the heat, and I got a taste of what it was like to be my character, Benjamin Colonna, as an officer, and I did my best to be, what was written about him, just a good, kind, loving character who supported all of his cadets.
Did you know much about the battle? Because obviously it's based on a battle in 1864. Did you know much about the battle before signing on to the project?
No, I actually didn't know a thing. I'm not a very well-read individual. I didn't, go to college, and I didn't pay much attention in school. So my history of the Civil War itself was kind of lame. But that was kind of one of the coolest experiences of doing the film for me, was that I got an opportunity to learn. I got an opportunity to learn about the Battle of Newmarket, about Virginia Military Institute, about the history of Virginia. More importantly, I got to travel Virginia when I did sign on, and I got to go to Newmarket, and I got to run the field, and I got to see, the monuments of cannons they left to remember the field and the battle that took place. I got to be on the field in the mud where all the shoes were lost, which was a really big symbolic thing of this battle. And they have a small museum with a video about some of the characters and memorabilia to all the cadets that were lost, and names and years and histories of the many students that were injured. I believe 7 were killed and about 70 were injured. So there's quite a bit of history in Virginia that I got to learn because I didn't know much about the project when I signed on.
So how did you get involved in the project?
I think it's, for me, it's like, routine stuff. I got a phone call from my agent and manager saying, hey, we have an appointment for you for this really great film, Field of Lost Shoes. There were 6 or 7 characters being cast at the time, and they had me read for one of the stronger roles in Johnny Wise. And when I went in, they said, look, you're doing a great job, but you look just like Benjamin Colonna. Can you read us Benjamin Colonna? And sure enough, I looked up a picture of Benjamin Colonna, and I do look enough like him that I thought it was really funny. And I came back and read for Benjamin Colonna, which I really liked because, there's a couple scenes in the film that are really dramatic for him. And I do a lot of comedy, and I do a lot of other projects that aren't quite as dramatic. So I kind of fell in love with my opportunity to do it. And it's funny, I actually almost missed my audition to meet with Sean McNamara and Brandon. That day I had 2 auditions, one at Paramount and one at a casting office with Joey Paul, who cast Field of Lost Shoes. And when I was at the casting office for Joey Paul, there were so many kids being auditioned for so many different roles that it was taking a very long time. So I had to leave, and I went to Paramount for a second audition. And when I came back, no one was in the office. And I had to knock on the door, and an assistant opened and was like, hey, what do you want? And I was like, I just want to audition. I don't know if you guys are still holding auditions. I had to leave and come back. And she was like, sure, just give me a minute. And then I got to go in and read, and sure enough, I was cast. It was an awesome experience.
Can I just say, I've gone to Google, and I've put Benjamin Colonna into Google and looked at the images. Just like to say to the viewers, he does look quite a lot like Benjamin Colonna.
Yeah. It's funny, it's one thing to be like, oh, actually, I could look a lot like this man. And then when they put you in, a Civil War outfit that's wool from head to toe, and I have a matching everything. I mean, they matched the red scarf he was wearing. There's a famous portrait of him holding his hat to his right side, I believe, and that's what they based everything I wore off of. And I looked quite a bit like him when they put me in the outfit.
What was it like working with the cast and crew on set? Because obviously, given the fact that it's a war environment, you've got to handle guns and other things.
For me, the biggest remembrance I have about being there was bonding with the other 6 boys that I was with in our little group. I live in Los Angeles, and we had to travel out to Richmond, and then we went to Lexington, which is a small town where the school is in Virginia. And, for me, it's like you get stranded on an island for a while. You go basically move into a hotel for 3 months, and you're pulled away from your personal life to go work. And so a lot of the feelings I have about it are great because I really fell in love with the cast that I was with. We all still are very, very close friends, and it's like you develop a little family while you're on location because everyone's being pulled from their homes, everyone's in a foreign place, and we look to each other to stay bonded and keep a chemistry too for when we're shooting together. And on set, that was a wildly amazing experience. You're right, there are guns, there's constant amounts of special effects running around telling you to be careful. They've got to yell certain commands before they even fire anything. If there is a gun that can be loaded and shot, even with a blank, they have to show every single person on the set the barrel to make sure that there's no ammunition in there. There are rules and things, to keep everything safe, but overall the experience is so unique. And the best thing about all of it is that we had a really great group of reenactors that they hired. So we had something like anywhere from 30 to 100 reenactors who, as a hobby and as a lifestyle, reenact these civil wars. So we had people locally that really, as actors, as young actors who were playing, characters in Civil War, and as young actors who haven't done this before, we had a lot of help from background and from extras and from local people in Virginia who really knew more about the history than we did, who understood things like how to line up, how to properly march, how to properly salute, how to properly hold your gun. We did go through a boot camp training the first week we got in. We spent a weekend with some sergeants and officers at VMI, and they taught us everything we needed to know about how we should look while we're in uniform, how we should react in certain scenes. It was, one, a really eye-opening experience, and two, really unique because I didn't expect so much benefit from local reenactors. I didn't realize how much I had to learn until we're around them. That was really cool.
Obviously, it's a serious war film. Are there any sort of funny anecdotes you could share about the production of the film?
Oh, man. I mean, I think the funniest thing about this film for me is a line that I had. There's this moment where all of our characters are in our dorm room, basically, at the school, and the boys go in search of a young cadet they can use to help trade rabbits for bread with like the local bread maker who's a slave. And at a time during the Civil War, there was no food in Virginia, and rations were small, and many of the cadets were hungry. A lot of people in Virginia at the time were just hungry because of the war. There was just not enough food to go around. And there's a scene where we convince a little boy to like come work for us, to like be a part of our group. And my character stands in the back, and we're trying to intimidate the kid and scare him. You'll see it when you see the film. We plant food in the contraband in his luggage and get the boy really scared, and we convince him we're going to beat him as punishment. And then we decide not to and teach him a lesson that you shouldn't be using power over other people just because you can. It's kind of a lesson that's anti-slavery. And as I'm standing in the back of this room, this little boy is getting like berated by our group, and my character just pipes up and says, "Hey boy, take your shirt off." And at the time, when I was, with my 6 young guy friends, and we're in the middle of doing this scene, we've got to do it 20 different times, and all I had to say in that scene was, "Take your shirt off." That ended up being a really, really funny moment for me. And finally seeing it on screen, not nearly as funny. It's actually quite serious, but I still laugh because it's just such a silly line.
Let's talk a bit about you, Sean, you yourself.
Sure.
What made you want to get into acting in the first place?
Good question. I've been acting since I was 5 years old. So, now and for most of my childhood and my adult life growing up, it's just something I've always been doing. So it's never really been a question as to why I wanted to. But when I think about it, I think it just had a lot to do with my older brother. My brother was 8 or 9 years old and had a really nice voice as a kid and could sing and was doing Broadway. As a little boy, I looked at my older brother and said, "I want to do what he's doing." And I think it's always stayed that way for me. My brother's had a lot of success and had some really great films under his belt, some really funny films. So for me, I've always looked up to him, and he's kind of been my inspiration for wanting to be an actor. And now, it's really developed into something for me. The best way of describing it is like, for me, acting is the only way I can release a certain amount of energy I have. And, it's basically like an outlet for me as an individual for the things that I want to put out into the world, and acting's given me the ability to fulfill that. And I think it kind of always has, even as a kid growing up and now into adulthood. I mean, it's just something that's always felt right to me. There's nothing, especially like in a movie like this, there's nothing in the world that feels as good as playing an entirely different character and playing something that you're not and telling a really good story. I guess I've always been in love with storytelling. I mean, even as a little boy.
This is a question that always bugs people. No, I just bug people. What advice would you give to anyone wanting to pursue a career in the industry?
Oh, good question, actually. My advice is probably the advice I give myself. First thing I say is, it has to be your dream. To be an actor, for me, it's my dream. I get to live my dream. I've always wanted to be in film, and I don't care if the role is insignificant or not. I just like telling a good story and being a part of the process. There's nothing like being on a production and working on a film 14 hours a day. My advice would be, one, it's not easy. It's very difficult. There are so many people who are pursuing this dream, that have this dream, and there's so few of us who actually get opportunities to work and work consistently and get an opportunity, to tell a story to the world. So it has to be your dream, and you have to understand it's difficult. And the second thing, especially for me in my age now, is you just can never give up. You can never give up pursuing your dream if that's what it is. And for me, that's what it's always been. And there have been years where I've worked a lot and years where I haven't worked. And, I have a real job, and I come home to a real job and real life, and everything I do is to help further my opportunity to continue my career. And that's really hard to tell people, to give people advice, because it's not like, even in this film, it's not like I work all the time. I've been working since I was 5, but it doesn't mean that I get any more opportunities than anyone else. I mean, I still have to work very hard. So a lot of people are under false pretenses when they think they can just become an actor and just become successful overnight. That just doesn't happen. People got to put in the work. You got to have the dream. You got to know that it's difficult, and you just can't give up. And I know how vague that sounds and how cheesy that sounds, but that's really it.
This is the part of the interview I love, unfortunately. Basically, it's the improv round. Yes. Basically, I'm guessing you've got a load of fans, Sean.
Okay.
Who've never heard of me at all. Yeah, so this is the part of the interview where I give you 3 objects, and with those objects, you are to pitch to me an idea for a 5 to 10 minute short film.
Okay.
Are you following me so far?
Yeah, done and done. This is easy.
There are 2 stages, though.
Okay.
The first stage is actually the objects themselves. And the first 2 objects are going to be objects which are loosely connected to your acting career by title.
Okay.
So you've got to basically identify the title of the project from the object.
Okay.
You following me so far?
Yes.
Okay, right. So, I'm on your IMDb.
Okay.
Which is full. I will say that. It's massive.
Yeah, there's a little bit there, man. There's a little bit there.
This is hard. Okay, let's go for... Okay, right, okay. The first object is a set of adoption papers.
A set of adoption papers? What? What? Oh, man. Oh, I'm trying to rack my brain. What is this? I can't make the correlation at all. Man, my memory's terrible.
Okay, I'll give you this one. But the next one you've got to try more. It's Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Man, oh, man. Oh, come on. How did I not get that? Oh, I love Foster's. Oh, man. That's so funny. I didn't even think about the adopting of imaginary friends. Oh, brother, I should have known that one. Okay, cool.
So what was it like working on that show? Because it was a TV series.
It was the best, most beneficial thing to me as a person and to my career to be a part of that show. I got to work with some of the best voice actors in the industry who are unbelievably talented. I was in a room once a week, every week for 6 months out of the year, filming or recording rather a season of Foster's. And the people in the room with me, there were 6 of us. All of them are really established comedians and actors and actresses. And to be around that as a young man and to grow up around that was such a benefit to my life on every level, like personally and professionally. It was the coolest thing I've ever done. I always tell people, if I could, make money and sustain a living for the rest of my life just doing cartoon voice work, that's what I would do. It's the best job in the world.
So, Foster Papers. Can you get the second one? A photo album.
A photo album?
Yeah, in respect of a family photo album.
Photo album. Oh, man. I'm trying to think. If I used a photo album in 13 going on 30?
No.
Pictures. Oh, man. I should have looked at my own IMDb. I don't know, man. You got me, dude. This is how little I look at my own stuff.
Well, you've got 3 options I can think of.
We'll do multiple choice.
Yeah. Well, no. There's 3 you could have actually used for the answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hook me up, man. Let me know. Which ones are they? I mean, I'm not looking. I'm like so lost, dude. I'm so lost.
Well, you've got Family Law.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's old school.
Yeah. You've got 3 Sisters.
Okay.
And the last obvious connection, which you'll be going, oh, how did I not know about that, like you did before? All My Children.
Oh, man, okay. All right, you went old school on me, man. I haven't even thought about that stuff in so long. That's so cool. Oh, man, this is funny. Okay, so we've got a photo album.
Yeah.
And we got adoption papers.
Yeah, and the last object is something that has absolutely no connection with you whatsoever. There's no connection.
Okay.
It's one that I always throw in. It's always the same for every interviewee, and it's the one designed to cause the most problems with the idea that it's probably forming in your head right now. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. Give it to me.
It's a 5x5 signed photo of myself.
A 5x5 signed photo of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna go. Dark comedy. I want this film that I'm pitching to you to be a dark comedy. I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson films. I'm also a big fan of like Lars and the Real Girl and Dan in Real Life and independent, artsy new age style dark comedy. Especially for a story that's going to be about a young man who's going through. It could be a young girl. I want to say I like young actresses. I want to say a young girl, let's say 16 or 17, who is in the middle of being adopted, and while she waits for her adoption papers to go through with her new family in this new environment she's stepping into as a young adult, she's using a photo album that she has to find what history she doesn't know from her own life. We find out quickly as we start in the story that this young girl doesn't know much about her life. She's kind of been in social care in and out most of her life, and now that she's coming into adulthood, she's got questions for herself, and so does her family. This new family who really loves her and wants to take her in is helping her find her own identity by using this photo album. And there's one photo in the photo album that can connect all of the dots that she has to explore and she's got to find with this new family. It's a photo of you. It's a 5x5 signed photo of you. And the family and this young girl aren't sure where this photo will lead. As readers will go on a journey of discovery that'll be dark and funny and sad and sweet. And it'll take us on a wild ride until she kind of comes into her own with the help of her new family, and they get all of their bonding, and their dreams get to come true for the family adopting her, and her dreams get to come true as she becomes her own self and becomes an adult and finds her own identity on this wild goose egg chase to figure out who you are, what you are, and why you're in this photo album that was left to her. And that's the story. How's that pitch, man?
It was alright. It's better than what most people do and say I'm a drug addict or a murderer.
No, man. In fact, I want to go as far as to say I think the 5x5 photo signed by you looks very much like, I want to say it looks very like heartwarming. I kind of want to envision you in a sweatshirt somewhere cold with your arm around a dog. And it's signed. Yeah, and it's this kind of a sweet photo with a lot of question marks. What's the dog? Is this a family photo? Who are you? What do you do? Clearly we can't tell. But you like dogs, apparently, and that's a good thing, so you must be a nice guy.
So, another question that's proved quite popular this year. I don't know why. It's quite funny. Do you use Twitter?
I do use Twitter a little bit, like a little bit.
So, do you know what a hashtag is?
Of course.
Yes. So, if you could create a hashtag to describe your acting career and your lifestyle, what would it be and why?
I'm going to go with hashtag turn down for what? And that's the best way to describe my acting career. I want to go with turn down for what, because it's kind of the definition of how I've been feeling lately. I got one mode, man, and that's go. And when I look at my resume and I look at all the work I've ever done, that's pretty much what it says to me. I've done everything from voice cartoons to playing a silly pothead with an Academy Award winner to like being a Confederate soldier stuck in the heart of a civil war. So the things that I get to do all the time are really awesome. And my whole entire life I've just spent all my energy staying positive and optimistic and kind of being a little obnoxious and loud about it. And that's what turned down for what is for me, man. That hashtag's a huge thing, at least here in LA and throughout the States, I think, because Lil Jon's got that awesome rap song called Turn Down for What. And I don't know if you've seen the music video for this thing, but there's this guy in this music video that kind of embodies exactly what that phrase means. And I feel like lately that's kind of how my entire life feels, man. Turn down for what? if it's not turned down for what, I think the second hashtag would also be another rap quote, and that would be hashtag can't stop, hashtag won't stop.
So obviously we're in 2014.
Yeah.
Can we say May? I don't think we can.
Yeah, it's May. It's Mayish.
What's coming up for you this year? Because I should sort of throw in, out of just, looking, you're in the new Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I think they're just recycling voices from the original. I didn't go back in to record any new work. I think they're just going to be reusing some work from the previous game. I'm not sure if they're doing flashbacks. I'm a big gamer myself, so I'm just not sure what they're working on. But I'm sure if they need something from me, I'll be back in. But I think they're just going to recycle stuff from the first game. Oh, anything else for the year? Yeah, I've got a film I just finished in South Africa called Unfriend. It's a horror movie about a young group of people who are getting harassed by like a local witch demon. And that should be out hopefully by the end of this year. And that's just going into post-production now. I mean, we just finished a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I have another movie that's been in post-production for a while. We're hoping we'll see some light either the end of this year or next February, and that's called I Break for Gringos. And that's a big young teen comedy. It's me and one of my closest friends. We went to Mexico for 3 months and shot this amazing movie in these amazing locations. And it's a coming-of-age story about two young men who go to Mexico in search of fun and happiness, and it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong does go wrong. And those are two really big things for me. Other than that, I'd say by the end of this year, just look on the internet and stay tuned for me doing some stand-up. I've been working on some stand-up routines and going up locally in LA, and I think when I've got a good 20, 30 minute set, I'll put something online so that people can follow my stand-up now.
Tell us a joke.
Oh, man, you want a joke?
Yeah.
What's a super cheesy joke I can go with? Oh, man. I mean, all my jokes are like story jokes. I don't do like the knock, who's there? Blah.
That wasn't funny.
Yeah. I don't know. Knock, who's there? Clown face who? I don't know, dude. That's the dumbest thing ever. No, how about this? The next time you want to know a joke, you just got to look up some of my stand-up. It'll be a good solid 5 minutes. Tell a story about my family and my crazy life and all the nonsense I get into.
Fair enough. Anyway, Sean, it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a real pleasure. It's been quite fun, actually. I've never been through like the experimental pitch phase before. That was cool.
People seem to enjoy it.
I'm actually really proud of my pitch. I feel like I could have created a really heartwarming story there.
You could actually go and film it.
Yeah, I just might. I'm going to play the little girl I was talking about. Yeah. Well, hey, Matt, I mean, thank you so much for having me, man, and thank you so much for taking the time to interview me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks very much for your time.
I think before I let you go, one thing I want to mention, you said, hey, what's coming out this year? What can we look forward to? Field of Lost Shoes. The movie's making its round of festivals. I really hope we get distribution and put the movie in a theater near you, and I'm really proud of the performances in that film.
Out of interest, you mentioned about the festival run. What's the reception been like?
The premiere that I got to go to, that I was invited to for me to see the film for the first time, we were in Richmond, in Virginia, to a place where this really pertains, Civil War history, especially specific Civil War story like this. It's definitely important to Virginia and that area, and for anyone, who's got a hobby in history. I mean, they're going to love this film. But it's an interesting scope to think about it generally as a movie, when people want to spend their weekends going to see Captain America. I feel like the reception's been good. From what I saw, I'm really proud of the film, and I know that it'd be hard to argue that the performances aren't good and the story isn't good. And, I feel like me and my band of actors in arms did a really good job telling a great story, and the chemistry is there, and it's funny, and it's sad, and it makes you smile too. The hard part about festivals is, as much as you want to be optimistic and you want to hope everybody in the world loves it, you just actually never know. And that's kind of the very beautiful part to filmmaking is, you bust your butt every day for as long as you can, and then eventually you just have to let it go and become its own thing. So I think we'll find out shortly how well it's being received, as it just started making rounds last week.
Well, thanks very much for your time.
Hey, yeah, Matt, thanks so much, man. You have a good day.
Bye-bye now.